What's up YouTube? This is Fatman Fluffy. I'm going to be probably posting this on both my channel, which is Fluffy Decks, and the YGOscholars. I know there's a glare, but hopefully I can get rid of the glare throughout the rest of the video. But I just recently got back home from doing my first local tournament, and I went undefeated. And the deck I played is Invoked Shaddolls. I don't run any Dogmanica stuff. I don't have the money for it, but this deck put in work in the grind game was amazing. So let's go ahead and start with monsters. I'm not really going to explain much because there's been plenty of Shaddoll decks and Invoked Shaddoll decks and even Invoked Dogmanica Shaddoll decks. So I run 3 Alistair. He's your play starter. Even if he gets ashed, you still have a fusion spell in your hand. You just go and make. Well, my deck is different. I don't have the Artemis, so I make Omirage and then go into Secure Gardener and then Shaddoll Fusion or El Shaddoll Fusion, or to go into a Winda, or not Winda, but go into a Construct and then go off on my plays. 3 Windy. Obviously she's one of the best Shaddolls in the deck, because whenever she goes to the graveyard or flips up, you get to special summon a Shaddoll. Either if it's flipped, if she flips summon, you can either summon it face up or face down. But when she's just sent to the graveyard, you special summon it face down. Squimata, he's the in-archetype Foolish Burial. That's all that's really neat. And also, I did use his flip effect quite a few times. I played a Dino player, and I pretty much I had Mechaba on board. He got rid of my Winda, so I went into Mechaba, or Mechaba, whatever the hell it's called, and I went and used Windy effect because I had Windy face down, and he destroyed it. So Windy, well, not destroyed it, but sent it to the graveyard. So whenever any Shadolls go to the graveyard by any effect except for cost, Windy let me set Squimata, and he just pretty much passed. And then on my turn, I flip summoned him, and he tried to use Ultimate Conductor's effect. I ended up banishing it instead when I flipped. And since I wasn't allowed to, since he didn't let me declare my effect yet before he activated his monster's effect, the judge there ruled it as I could pop his other monster, which I did. So there's that. 2 Aerial. Aerial I didn't even really use. It is a great card, but it's a Foolish Burial, or not Foolish Burial. It's a triple DD Crow on legs, and then when you flip it, you bring back one of your banished cards. So she's really good. 2 Hedgehog, because Hedgehog is a spell and trap. No, monster searcher, I think, or maybe it is a spell and trap. Yeah, a monster searcher to add to your hand, and on his flip summon, I believe. Yeah, a spell or trap card searcher. So he's 2 different searchers in one, but you can only use one of his effect. Unlike my original build, I only run 1 beast. I didn't miss the second one. It came in when I needed it, and sometimes I got the draw 2 effect instead of the draw 1, and it helped me unbrick my hand. 1 dragon, because he lets me return a monster back to the hand that's on the field when he's flipped, and then his graveyard effect lets me target 1 spell or trap card on field to destroy it. Sorry, I was reading it because some of the Shaddoll monsters I don't know their effects by heart. And that is it for the normal monsters. I run 9 hand traps, which is 3 Ash, 3 Droll, and 3 Valor, because I don't have the money right now for infinite impermanence. And this hand trap lineup came in clutch. Whenever I went up against the Dino player was the only one that Droll was even used a lot, and he went to search with what was it? Soean Overraptor, and I ended up drolling him, and it completely stopped his turn. He was able to get the one search, and that was it. And he went to get the answer to Winda, and special summoned it. So no, that was no problem because I ended up losing that one match, but then see I went undefeated, but the thing was, it was more of a draw. One of my matches was a draw, but we did a dice roll for whoever got higher would win that round, and I happened to get higher. So, I mean, I don't completely count it as a win, but I count it as me not being defeated at all, because technically I didn't get defeated. We had a draw, and I won my next two matches. Now for the spells. 3 Shaddoll Fusion. Your opponent has an extra deck monster. It's simple. You just go and fusion summon out of your deck. 3 El Shaddoll Fusions. It's like the best non-Super Poly fusion spell. That's a quick play. And talking about Super Poly, I run 3 Super Poly. And the Super Poly came in clutch in one of the games. Okay, so, you know what? So then I also run 3 Magical Meltdown. You're probably wondering, I did all these fusion spells and then I do a field spell. You're probably asking, where's Invocation? Well, here it is. It's a 2 of, so I put it in the 2 of slot, which is the only 2 of in the spell lineup. Then for the 1 of spells, 1 Foolish Burial just to get my plays, started if I don't have any other way to get Shaddolls in the grave. 1 Called by the Grave, I never really used it because it never was in my hand. 1 Shaddoll Schism, I never activated this. Every time I got back into my hand and on the field face down, it either got banished or twin twisted or something. Or the one game that I played Cyber Dragons, he popped it, and the next card I'm going to play, which is the 1 Shaddoll Reincarnation. So, and that's the main deck. It's at 42 cards. It worked perfectly for me. The only matchup that gave me any problems was the Dino matchup. Luckily, I used to play dinosaurs, so I know most of their abilities and I know what to hit and when to hit it. So that's probably what helped me out the most. Now the extra deck. The extra deck has some changes as well. I run 2 Construct. The only reason why I run 2 Construct is because I have, normally I would run 3, but I took 1 out so I can add this guy, Shiganaga. And the reason why is because it's a special summon monster negate, and it's an outlet to get your Shaddoll monster effects going when they hit the grave. And another reason, I just happen to have Super Polymerization face down and a couple of cards in hand, and a Shaddoll monster face down, and my opponent played Pankachops. He went to, before I had a response, which was Super Poly, and he thought he could use, he thought Lost World protected him because he thought Super Poly target, but it doesn't. And then he thought he could use Pankachops in response to pop my monster, but then I told him Super Poly cannot, like, everybody should know this, but I told him Super Poly says that no card or effects can be activated in response to this card's activation. So he didn't realize that until I told him, and he's like, oh, okay. So that match, I proceeded to OTK him. 2 App Cologne, App Cologne. Never went into it. Never. Every time I was making a fusion monster, I was always going first, and I never had to go into it because my opponent never had a monster that I couldn't deal with in other ways. 2 El Shaddoll Winda. This card came in clutch. Every first turn, I was making this card, and I was locking my opponents out of doing stuff, and they just could not do anything until they got rid of Winda. And then here's another change. let me see, one Makaba. I normally would play two, but I took one out because I'm running something else in its place, which is Invoked Ogzius. I don't know how to pronounce that, but him I never went into, but he was a good option to have in the deck just in case if I need to push for more damage. Now, one card that came in clutch, which I didn't think was gonna do as well as it did, is Invoked Purgatrio. It just it helped me OTK so many times, and I even had a couple Alistairs in hand, and I used one Alistair to buff it. At one point, it was 2,700, and I buffed it to 3,700, and just OTK'd by attacking all my opponent's monsters. And then another card that came in clutch, which really helped, is Invoked Raging. It is an amazing card. I love it. Now for the links, I only run 4 links. One is Cross Sheep. I only went into it to stop Mystic Mind. I never used its effect, but it's whatever. Gravity Controller for the Construct plays. Omirage, Salmon Great Omirage, because I don't have Artemis, and then Secure Garden Up because he's the only light link monster I can make on my turn. I would go over the side deck, but that is kind of I don't quite want people from that locals happen to see this video and see my side deck, so I think it's best I don't show it. And because when they see this deck profile, they're obviously going to know who it is. So, but other than that, please remember to like, comment anything that you liked about this deck or anything you didn't like about this deck or any kind of constructive criticism, and maybe somehow I can improve the deck. And also, just don't forget to subscribe. Fat Man Fluffy, signing out.